All right, Curtis May here, Practical Wealth, and we want to record a short video. And this one is entitled, and the title came from, I was in the barber shop yesterday, and I'm always reading. So right now I'm reading, if you can see this, Robert Kiyosaki's and Tom Wheelwright's latest book. If you can see this, Why the Rich Are Getting Richer. So it's a great read. It's been, I think I started this weekend, and I'll be done by tonight. And it's good. So I'm reading it in the barbershop. So one of the tips is, if you want to get your stuff in, you need to take your reading material with you all the way. You know, leaders are readers. And somebody once told me, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. So I've decided that nobody was ever going to be able to do that to me. But he said, does all this reading help? You know, looking at, you're always reading this stuff. And I said, listen, first of all, I'm a financial educator. So if I'm going to be in the, I'm in the knowledge for profit business. But if you're going to be a thought leadership business, then you need to be in the knowledge acquisition business first. But I'm reading so I can learn stuff, so I can gain new insights, so that, because most of my clients won't read this stuff, so I'm kind of like the curator of trying to bring this to people. But we're on our journey for financial independence, so I'm always looking for an edge, right? And so one of the things just reminded me of this, because see, what happens is people think that financial independence, especially in the financial services industry, lies in products, right? But it doesn't. It's all about your, Jim Rohn says, listen, most people don't have a money problem, they have a philosophy problem. So it's all in how you think. And so you constantly have to work on your thinking. A mentor once told me, if you know what's going on, you'll know what to do. So how do you think your way out of problems? How do you, with all this stuff that's going on, you've got to learn new stuff. Because as you read this, folks, if you think, maxing out your 401k, paying off your mortgage, buying a diversified portfolio of mutual funds is going to save you, let me tell you, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you, because none of that stuff is going to help you, because none of that stuff in this environment is going to work long range. All right. And so one of the things is just reiterating, is just looking at the book, is that, because it reminded me of some stuff. And then there's some deeper stuff, where he says things like, well, I always teach people you got to pay yourself first. You have to save. And the verb of saving, you do need to save, but you can't leave your savings in a bank. That's not going to work. You're not going to make any money. It doesn't keep up with inflation. And savers are losers, one, because we don't have money. We have currency. So the dollar is debt. So why would you save debt? So what happens is you must, and this is what I'm getting, is trying to, it's even, bring it back into my mind, is you've got to learn to use debt. He says people save with after-tax incomes, trying to get, $10,000-$15,000 down for a down payment. So if you make 20, you're only going to net 5, because you got to pay taxes on it if you have a job. But what if you could position yourself to borrow the $20,000 for the down payment for the $100,000 properties? This is how rich people think. How can you raise the $20,000? See, so what happens is, in order to think that way, you've got to become more financially literate. So does all that reading help? Well, let's just have a quick review. So when I talk about your thinking, so I apologize for this image is not the greatest, but what happens is I always bring people back to cash flow patterns. There's different cash flow patterns. Usually if I'm talking to a client, I'm picturing this statement you're seeing right now in my head. And so within like 3 minutes, or 5 questions, I can draw you the story of your life when it comes to your money. And so here is, I don't even have that one. In fact, let's do the next one. Let's go down. Okay. Oops, I can't move. Nope. Let's go down. All right, well, let's do it this way. So what happens is, this is the cash flow pattern of poor people. I hate to say, I don't have time to be politically correct. And so what happens is, this is your income, expenses, right? This is your assets and liabilities. So what happens is, you get money, you have bills, out. So the direction of the money is out. So what happens is, this is the cash flow pattern of the majority of my clients. So I would say middle income, and I say, look, you're 50 to about 250, 300,000. That's a middle income, folks. And so what happens is, they get money, earned income, which means your number one expense is taxes. All right. Then they've got to buy a bigger house. They've got 2 cars. They've got credit cards. They've got student loans, right? So they have a lot of debt. So their money goes like this. They have income. They have debt. They have expenses, right? Taxes, what you eat, tuition, right? Money out. So the direction of that money is out and away from their personal economy. All right, and so here's the thing. Here's the cash flow pattern of the rich. See, because what happens is, people miss the first chapter of Rich Dad Poor Dad is, rich people don't work for money. Okay, and people don't get what that means. That means that what they do is they work to buy assets, right? And so what is an asset? An asset is something that puts money in your pocket every month without you working, right? And so what happens is, when you get paid, if you start out with a job, when you get paid, you've got to save money, because savings is an expense. So the only way you get money here is to put it there. I'm not saying you don't pay your bills. I'm just saying you need to pay yourself first, right? And so once you have some money now and your education, you buy assets, right? There's 4 asset classes: business, real estate, paper, and commodities, right? And so what happens is, each of these things have the ability to generate cash flow, right? And so we did another lesson that we recorded. Probably this might come out before that one, depending on when I release it. But there's 3 types of income: earned, passive, and portfolio. So most people are taught to focus on this, right? The income statement, right? Get a better job. So they tell you to go into debt, get some student loans, get a better job, right? So now you've increase your debt that you've got to service, and then you've increased your taxes. So if you just follow conventional wisdom, you're basically working to be a slave on somebody else's I hate to say plantation, right? And so what happens is, you've got to learn to think differently. And so why do I read so much? Because I'm trying to train my brain to think differently. I'm trying to train our client's brain to think differently. So folks, here's the thing. You want to change your life? One of the things that we have our clients do is, you have to read a book a month on money. All right. And so can you read? I challenge you this. I'm going to leave you off with this. Can you read 12 pages a day? That's all I want. 12 pages a day. If you're aggressive, 12 pages a day, an audio book a week, and a podcast while you're driving or working out. Okay. And if you do that, you'll be a different person 12 months from now. All right. So yes, reading works. Reading has grown our income. It's allowed me to grow my business. And guess what? It will do that for you. Because remember this, folks. Most people are stuck. Most people hit what I call a ceiling of complexity. Right. And so the number one problem in society is complexity. People are hitting a ceiling, and they're stuck, and they don't know what to do. So what happens is, as your knowledge goes up, you're raising that ceiling, and your anxiety comes down, because you have more choices in which that you can deal with challenges that come up in your life. So leaders or readers, give me 12 to 15 pages a day. Have a great day.